Morning, children. Now, today we are going to start with direct and indirect taxes. Yesterday, we have taken various revenue sources of revenues for the government, and we have seen taxes, and we have also seen non-taxable revenues. And today, we are going to take taxes in detail. Taxes, children, are divided into two. They are of two types: direct tax and indirect tax. Now, first of all, we are going to take direct tax. Direct tax refers to those taxes which are really paid by those on whom they are legally imposed. It is paid by the person on whom the tax is directly imposed, and it is legally imposed on that person, and that person directly pays to the government. What do you mean by this? This means that like income tax, for example, income tax is directly paid by the person to the government officials, whosoever is authorized to collect the income tax. The person directly pays there to the government employee. Like water tax, like road tax, you don't pay to any intermediary person, you directly pay these taxes to the government, right? So direct tax is imposed on a person from which the government intends to collect it. Such taxes are non-transferable. They cannot be transferred to one person to another. If suppose the tax is imposed on me, then I am only going to pay the tax. I cannot transfer my tax responsibility to somebody else. Somebody else cannot pay my direct tax. I have to pay my direct tax to the government, right? The assess is not entitled to shift the burden of tax onto the shoulder of any other person. Like for example, in your book it is given wealth tax, gift tax, income tax. These are the examples of direct tax. And what do you mean by indirect taxes? Indirect taxes are the taxes which are imposed on one person but is paid partly or wholly by another person. Customs and excise duties are important source of revenues from indirect taxes in India. For example, the impact of sugar excise duty is on the producer, but when he realizes the tax amount from the consumer by raising the price of the sugar, the incidence will be on the consumer, right? So many a times taxes are taken by the public and then it is paid to the government. Whatever product many a times we have seen that we have to pay GST and all. So to whom we are paying the GST? We are giving to the seller. The GST we are giving to the seller, and we are not giving to the government directly, but we are giving to the seller, and seller will pay it to the government. So when such type of channel is used, it is termed as indirect taxes, right? Then let us see the difference between direct tax and indirect tax. The direct taxes imposed on income or properties and are called direct taxes. Indirect taxes are imposed on commodities, and when we buy them, then we have to pay those indirect taxes, right? Second is they are directly paid to the government, and indirect taxes are not paid directly to the government. They are paid, but by one person. It is borne by one person and paid by another person, right? Then direct tax cannot be shifted onto the other person, but indirect taxes can be shifted to other person, and you can change from person to person. Whomsoever you are selling the product, that person has to pay the indirect tax. Now, direct tax, these taxes are levied according to the ability of the taxpayer. It particularly sees the ability of payment. Direct taxes are only imposed on person who are able to, who comes under some income slot or some they are paid by the people who are capable of paying, who have the ability to pay. But indirect taxes do not see the ability. Whomsoever the commodity is sold, that person has to pay. Even a poor person, if he is going to buy from a big shops or malls, he has to pay GST. And if even the rich person is going to the malls and buying the commodities, then he is paying the indirect tax. So indirect tax is when the ability is not seen, but indirect tax ability is always seen. For examples of direct taxes are income tax, wealth tax, corporation tax, etc. Then indirect taxes, examples are GSTs. Over here it is written VAT. Now we don't have value added tax. We have GSTs. You can cut down this and you can write down GST. Then excise duties, custom duties. So service tax we don't have now, right? So these are the examples of indirect tax. Now let us see the merits and demerits of direct tax. Merit of direct tax are, it is economy to collect the direct tax. It is economical to collect the direct taxes because they are being directly taken by the tax collectors, and the person can directly go and pay these taxes. So it is economical. Then equity, it is charged on all the people who are able to pay. Certainty, the government is certain that this amount the government is going to get, because the incomes are the same, more or less same, of the person, and then in that case the person has to pay this income tax. So for these type of taxes, government is more certain to collect. Then elastic, this direct taxes are elastic. It means government can increase the tax rate, the government can decrease the tax rate accordingly, and so we can say that they are elastic in nature. Civic consciousness, the civic consciousness is related with the point that when a person pays the tax and sees the things provided by the government to the society, they think that this is all attained, this is all given from our money. Government has utilized our tax money, and from those tax money government is providing all the benefits, social welfare benefits to the public. So they are more conscious about the products or the things which are provided to the people, and they do not harm those things which are provided for the social welfare of the society. People don't harm, people don't destroy, because they think if they will destroy, government will charge more money from them, and then they are going to use it for the public welfare. So civic consciousness is seen in direct taxes. Then comes reduction in inequality. Since the higher income group has to pay more tax as compared to the lower income group, so here with the direct tax it is seen that the inequality of income is reduced, inequality of wealth is reduced. So we can say direct tax are helping to an economy to just equalize, bring this inequality into equality. It reduces this inequality, and people are more to the safer side by just bringing the richer and poorer in a one row, in one condition. The richers will pay higher taxes and bring them to some lower level, and richer will pay lesser taxes, so they will be at some point. So when this is seen, we can say seeing this we can say that there is a reduction in inequality, right? Then comes demerits of direct taxes. First is unpopular. People of remote areas or rural areas may not know that they have to pay these direct taxes, and it becomes very, very difficult for the tax collectors also to collect, and they are painful to the taxpayers also sometimes, because these taxes are directly imposed on people and cannot be shifted onto others, and they are painful to the taxpayers many a times, and they don't want to pay, and they are very unpopular among the people. Inconvenience, the main drawback of direct tax is that they cause a lot of inconvenience to the taxpayer. How? the taxpayer have to maintain accounts to satisfaction of the tax authorities, and have to submit the statements of their income along with the sources of income from which it is being derived. So it becomes very difficult for one person to just make the tax authority satisfied, and for that purpose they are supposed to maintain a proper accounts and all, so it becomes inconvenient also. And sometimes the taxpayer have to pay the entire amount of tax in one installment. That is very, very burdensome to the taxpayer. Then possibility of evasion. It is many a times it is seen that people have a habit of just evade the they don't want to pay the tax, so they quietly, they secretly hide their actual profit, and they do not show the exact profit to the government, and in that case the evasion of tax is seen by the people. It is uneconomical. Direct tax are often expensive to collect. The cost of collection is particularly heavy when the number of taxpayer is large, and each taxpayer pays only a small amount of tax. In that case, in India, millions of people are paying smaller amount of taxes, since the population is more, so it is very difficult for a person to collect the taxes from these people. Right. So now when comes the taxpayers, so it is arbitrary. It is argued that direct taxes are arbitrary. The rate of taxes depends upon the whims of taxation authority and not the ability to pay. It is argued that many a times it is seen the rate of taxes are depending upon the taxation authorities, and they are not charging accordingly. They are not seeing actually the ability to pay, and in that case it is seen that it is arbitrary. Narrow scope. Direct taxes are generally imposed on the rich people. Lower income group people are not approached to the to these taxes, and in this way they have their limited applicability. They cannot reach to the people who are of lower income group. Then comes merits of indirect taxes. Merits of indirect taxes are, the first one is, it is very, very convenient for a person to pay the tax. The indirect taxes are easily collected by the person, because they are paid to the payer, and they are not being paid to the government directly, so it becomes more convenient to pay for the taxpayer. Then wide coverage. The indirect taxes can be imposed on large variety of goods, so that most of the person contributes something to the revenue of the government. It is equity. Indirect taxes can be made equitable by imposing heavy taxes on luxury goods consumed by the rich consumers, and they are not seen, indirect taxes are not like this, that only the richer people have to pay. Even the poorer are also paying the same amount of tax if they are buying the commodity. So it is more equity in relation to direct taxes. Then it is elastic. It is also elastic because indirect taxes can be made elastic, and they are more tax rates are accordingly. They are more imposed on essential goods like edible oils, flour, sugars, etc., whose demand is inelastic. The government can obtain adequate tax revenue by increasing the tax rate on which such commodities. However, this will go against the canon of equality. No evasion. No person can say that I am not going to pay indirect taxes. They have to pay whatever GST is imposed on them, whatever indirect tax is imposed on them. Check on consumption of harmful commodities. It is also seen by the government that if there is any commodity which is harmful, like wine, like liquor, they can charge more tax on these commodities as compared to the commodities which are of essential needs. So in this way they can keep a check on harmful commodities. Protection against foreign competition. By imposing higher taxes to the importing goods, the domestic industries are seen that they are at a more protected in a more protected condition, because now the person has to pay more tax on the foreign goods as compared to the home production. So in this case indirect taxes are also helping the domestic industries, and they are being protected by that. Now let us see the demerits. Following are the demerits, disadvantages, and indirect taxes, disadvantages of indirect taxes. Regressive. The main drawback of indirect tax is that they are regressive in nature and hence unjust. They fall on all person indiscriminately. They neglect the principle of ability to pay. Everybody has to pay the tax, so it is of regressive in nature. No civic consciousness. By paying the indirect taxes, no civic consciousness comes. They don't think that they are actually paying the tax in that form also, and whatever the government is providing to the society, they are made from that person only. What they think that these taxes are paid to the sellers and they are not going to the government. So no civic consciousness comes. It is not seen that civic consciousness is related with indirect tax. It is uncertain also. The third point is it is uncertain. People when they are going to buy the commodity, then only they are going to pay the indirect tax. If they will not buy, government will not receive indirect tax. So it is many a times uncertain. It is based on the purchasing of one person. Discourages saving. Indirect taxes discourages saving as they are included in the price only. People have to pay more if they want to buy the commodity. They cannot save the money. Inflationary. Indirect taxes when imposed on the commodity leads to inflation, because in that case the prices of the product will increase, and when the prices of the products and services increases at a very fast pace, that is called inflationary situation, and we have already done this in the last chapter which we have done, inflation. So when the prices of the product will increase, it will lead to inflationary condition, right? So these were the direct taxes and indirect taxes which we have seen in this chapter. Now other kinds of taxes are not in your syllabus, like specific and ad valorem taxes are not in your syllabus. Let us take progressive tax, and in progressive tax only the meaning progressive, proportionals, regressive and digressive, only the meanings are to be told to you. So only you have to learn the definition and meaning you must know. Progressive tax is a tax which is when the rate of tax increases as the taxpayer's income increases. As the income of the person increases, the tax rate will also increase, right? That is called progressive tax. Let us see proportional taxes. In proportional taxes, it is one, the tax rate remains the same. No matter how much the income of the person is increasing, the tax rate will remain same. You can see in the table given below, the income of a person is 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and the rate of tax you can see it remains the same, 5%, 5%, it remains the same. So in proportional taxes, the rate of tax remains the same. Progressive taxes, as the income of the person increases, the rate of tax also increases. Then regressive tax, in this type of tax, the tax rate decreases as the tax base increases. As the income of the person increases, the tax rate percentage decreases. This is called regressive taxation, right? You can see the table given for progressive. You can see as the income of the person is increasing, like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, the rate of percent of tax is also increasing, 5, 10, 15. But you can see the table given below, as the income of the person is increasing, the rate of tax is decreasing, 10%, 9% and 8%. Then comes last is digressive tax. In digressive tax, what happens, as the income increases up to certain level, the level is decided, till that level the tax rate will increase, but after that if the income increases the tax rate remains the same. You can see from the table, from 10 to 15, when it increases from 10 to 15, the rate of tax increased from 5 to 6%. From 15 to 20, it increased to 7%. But after 20%, when it increased to 25 and 30,000, the rate of tax remains 777%. So digressive is to a certain limit, the tax rate increases up to a certain limit, but after that it becomes uniform. It do not change. So children, this is the last topic of this chapter, and I hope you have understood public revenue. And in next video we are going to see the public expenditure.